The story begins with our main character Gabby driving her luxurious car for a good amount of time until she arrives at a mansion. She punches in the key code to enter the house. In there, Gabby delights in what she sees. She gets a phone call from her friend Tabitha, whom she tells that if everything goes well, Gabby will become the new project manager in Jerome. Tabitha wonders if the house her friend arrived at is haunted. Since she wants Gabby to show it to her, the lady starts giving her a virtual tour. One of the doors is locked and Tabitha guesses it's where the alcohol is kept. As they talk, Tabitha sees a bookshelf open behind her friend, but Gabby doesn't believe her. She thinks she is being messed with. Changing the subject, Tabitha asks if she would rather wake up in a cage or a lab. Gabby thinks she would pick the cage because it does not involve being experimented on. Tabitha would pick to wake up in the lab as the doctor. Before she ends the call, Gabby says Tabitha outsmarted her. When Gabby is in the kitchen, she hears a door creaking somewhere in the house. Thus, she slowly starts to walk toward where she heard it. The lady walks into a room and opens a door. She turns on a flickering light, seeing she can only go down into a dark area. Unsurprisingly, she tells herself there is no way she is going down there. The next scene has her watching The Shining on her computer. While she does, she gets a phone call. Gabby answers it formally, saying she is Gabrielle Reynolds from Landstone Properties. A man named Owen Bannister called her. He tells Gabby the location and the time he wants to meet her. Afterward, she is in the washroom, another place where the light flickers. Soon we observe something bizarre. Her reflection in the mirror isn't copying her, but she does not notice it in those few seconds. Getting into bed, she starts reading a book titled No More Codependency. While she reads, we see the mansion from the outside, and it undergoes some sort of distortion. The next day, Gabby looks at the plants, seeing they have withered during the night. Moving forward, she gets into her car to drive to a restaurant. On her way to the restroom, she bumps into a man wearing a cowboy hat. Once she returns, she discovers he is the man she is supposed to meet, Owen. They have an awkward introduction. She asks him how he knows a man she calls Mr. Landstone. Owen knows him through an old family connection. After they eat, they get into his vehicle to go look at the properties he found. As the duo is looking at the land, Owen learns she is staying in Jerome and thinks it's a mistake. He tells her the town is haunted. The man heard a lot of strange stories about Jerome. About 100 years ago, there was an incident at the Connor Hotel, he says. A woman by the name of Anna Hopkins found out that her husband was cheating on her with a schoolteacher. Thus, Anna confronted the schoolteacher in the Connor Hotel cafe and threw acid on her face. Legend has it that the schoolteacher haunts that place to this day. It is the reason it is called the Spirit Room. Soon Gabby asks him why they are getting such a good deal on all the land he is showing her. If there is a fire sale, she says, there must be a fire somewhere. Owen thinks she is sharp for such a statement. He replies the owner owes a lot in back taxes. Back at the house she's staying in, Gabby looks at the flowers that were withered, but now they look healthy. Her explanation for this is that people came in to change them, which she considers strange. She takes a kaleidoscope on the table and starts looking through it. As she does, she suddenly sees the face of a woman in there, making her scared. At that moment, she gets a video call from her boss Landstone. He tells her the town she is in is historic. He wants her to give him some good content for selling points, like creepy ghost stories. So he tells Gabby what he wants her to do. Later, she visits the outside of an antique shop and sees a man stepping out of the store. He asks her what a girl like her is doing in Jerome. She tells him she wants spooky stories. The man has plenty to give. He starts telling her about the theater across the street. He says there was a couple that got into a big fight. The lady went inside the theater, yet was unaware that her husband came to sit behind her. When there was a loud scene in the movie, he strangled the lady to her demise. Hearing this prompts Gabby to put her hand on her neck. Since the day she perished, her ghost has haunted the theater, the man concludes. Moving along, Gabby enters an empty bar. She calls out to anyone who might be there. Out of nowhere, a woman grabs her hands, calls Gabby by her name, and asks if she knows why she is there. What interests Gabby is how this stranger knows her. The woman says she is Desiree, a seer. She has a message for Gabby. She says Judy sent her, telling Desiree to tell Gabby that she wants the newcomer to leave and never return. Gabby doesn't know who Desiree or Judy is, but the strange woman does not tell her anything else. Soon she simply vanishes like a ghost. Once Gabby comes back to the house, she gets a phone call from Tabitha. Her friend wants to know how things went with Owen. After Gabby tells her they had a nice time, she says something strange happened to her today. She goes on to inform Tabitha of the incident in the bar. Gabby doesn't know if Desiree is real or if she imagined her. Tabitha asks if she knows anyone named Judy. which she does not. Then Tabitha says her friend has been climbing the stairs for 5 minutes. She wants to know how big the house is. However, Gabby says she is upstairs. When she ends the call, we see how long the stairs are. Interestingly, Gabby did not notice it. Perhaps the house was messing with her mind. As she lies in bed, she hears sounds that make her get up. She keeps walking toward the sounds, which are like people chanting. Gabby descends into the place she refused to go to earlier. The door is mysteriously open. Walking down there, she sees hooded people chanting, showing zero interest in her. She slowly walks among them, maybe trying to understand what this is. Eventually, one of the chanters turns around, revealing her grotesque face. She yells that Gabby needs to leave. This causes her to awaken from the nightmare. Later, she is with Owen again, whom she tells about her nightmare. It felt very real to her. She thinks it was due to her encounter with Desiree. Owen says that sometimes there is a sick person who wants to scare the tourists. But what Gabby clings to is how the woman knew her name. The man wants to move away from this spooky topic by going outside to show her more properties. After he shows her one of them, she asks why it's for sale. She gets to hear another dark story. Owen tells her the owner slept with his wife's sister. He's trying to sell it before the wife can get half of it. Owen guesses the man is going to hide the money. Soon the conversation develops into him asking her about herself. She says she started working with Landstone 4 years ago as his assistant project manager. Her goal is to one day be a developer. Owen also wants to work in development. During his childhood, he enjoyed assembling projects. He even designed little towns on paper, which Gabby claims to have done too. He says it would be fun to spend more time with her. They almost kiss, yet she decides not to go through with it, so he takes her back. Back in the mansion's bed, Gabby reads her book. She notices the kaleidoscope is on the cabinet and gets up to put it back in its original place. At this moment, someone is banging on the front door. Frightened, she takes an item that she could use as a weapon. It takes some time for Owen to scare her behind the door. Gabby angrily asks him what he's doing there, and he says he got worried. He says she wasn't answering his phone calls. The man apologizes for scaring her. He claims to care about her well-being, therefore he wanted to check if she was okay. Once he says he likes her, she replies she is flattered he does. But she tells him it won't work because she likes females. Taken aback, Owen says he should leave. It's past his bedtime, he adds. Thus, he exits the house on an awkward note. Following this, Gabby gets a call from Tabitha, who learns what just happened. It is interesting that Gabby says good things about Owen, including him being attractive to her. She got scared due to his forwardness. It made her lie to him about her orientation toward females. Her friend tells her she always does this when she finds a good guy. She gives her advice on what she should have said. She wants Gabby to tell him the truth the next day. It is something Gabby thinks she has never done. Getting back into bed, she notices an odd occurrence. The kaleidoscope is somehow on the cabinet again, and she wonders how it got there. Then she hears someone crying, prompting her to get out of bed to follow the sound. She tries to look through a glass door, and a ghostly woman appears behind it, saying Gabby should have left, for she was warned. Gabby thinks the woman is Judy. She sees the door to the room close by itself. Attempting to open it, she cannot. She sees a bed, on which there is a blanket. It reveals none other than herself lying with a man. Of course, it scares her as they eerily disintegrate. The room starts to shake, terrifying her further. She tries to leave, but her arm gets stuck between the doors. Once she gets free, she acquires a big injury. Soon everything seems to return to normality. Gabby leaves the room and enters another one. However, she walks into the room she just left. She keeps trying to enter different rooms, only to keep walking into the same one. The house is certainly not normal. Subsequently, she seems to have gone into a new room, yet the door behind her vanishes. Opening another door, she sees a woman with a painted face. She says she warned Gabby, who shuts the door and screams in fear. She struggles to open another door. When she does, the lady falls down the stairs. Standing up in pain, she collects a flashlight. Thanks to her pain, she falls again. The flashlight rolls away to shine its light on a corpse. Seeing it, Gabby finds a diary near the corpse. It tells her the lifeless person used to be Judy. Reading it, Gabby learns that Judy thought her husband, Angus, blamed her for a certain loss. She did not think he loved her anymore. She wanted to reconnect with him very much. Shortly after, we get a flashback of Judy eating. She sits still, looking at a full plate of food opposite her. No one is sitting beside it. Then she looks at the flowers through the kaleidoscope. Gabby reads that Angus left her alone, and she didn't know where to turn. She did not want to hurt him, in addition to not wanting him to discover something. We see Judy in bed with a man. The problem is that he isn't Angus because the latter enters the house. He tries to open the bedroom door. but Judy holds it to prevent that from happening. Since he's stronger than her, he ends up opening it. He sees the man she was with running away. Gabby reads that if Judy ever saw him again, Angus would take her life. He would do it even if she left the house. This made her feel trapped and alone. We see her trying to run out of the house, yet Angus catches her. He places her back in the house in a chokehold, which makes her lose consciousness. That is where the diary pages end. The rest are blank pages. Gabby tells the deceased Judy she is sorry she didn't listen to her warning. She is also sorry about Judy not escaping. Afterward, she finds a bandage to wrap around her injury. She sits inside a bathtub and cries, saying she can't do this. Later, Owen arrives at the house. He starts calling Gabby on the phone, along with banging on the front door. Neither the phone nor the door gets answered, so he yells out to her that he waited at their agreed meeting place for 1 hour. Again, he wanted to check if she was okay, but Gabby can't hear him due to being asleep. Waking up, she struggles to get out of the bathtub. She walks over to a window from which she sees Owen and bangs on it to get his attention. Since he can't hear her, she tries to break the window with her luggage. However, this mansion is not ordinary. It does not allow her to break one of its windows. The lady resorts to running to the front door and yell out to Owen there. She bangs on the window with desperation, yet she witnesses the hopeless sight of him walking away, making the situation worse. She soon sees a tow truck arrive to take her car away. All of this prompts the poor lady to yell in confusion as to why this is happening to her. Then she notices a framed photo of Angus. She finds what looks like a voodoo doll near it. Touching it gives her a flashback of how Angus created the doll. After he put Judy in the house and she lost consciousness, he took the voodoo doll. He called out to the great spirits in the town of Jerome to pronounce a curse on his house. With that, we observe the mansion shake. He said to give it the power to do justice. As he poked the doll with needles, he said to capture, consume, and replace all the women who enter the house. He follows this by tossing the doll into a fiery furnace. It causes Judy to scream in pain on the floor. Angus adds his blood to the flames, saying he's giving his life to seal the curse in the house. He wants it to wipe away the stain of treachery. The man falls to the floor as a result. Out of the flashback, Gabby grabs the photo of Angus to tell him she wants her to know all of this. As she says she can't do this, the house shakes. Subsequently, we see a police car arrive. A policewoman walks with Owen, and they see the front door is open. He tries to enter the house, but the door closes on him. When it reopens, he rushes in to search for Gabby. The policewoman follows him there. He finds Gabby's phone, along with blood on the bed. Hearing a door creak, the duo goes in the sound's direction. They open a door and Owen screams loudly, even though there is nothing in that room. Meanwhile, Gabby is trapped in a room, banging on the door to be released. The cursed house distracts the duo from coming to her room. They discover the front door is making the sound that distracted them. The policewoman gets trapped by it, and Owen applies his strength to hold the door open for them to escape outside. As they stand there, the door hits them with a shock wave. The policewoman tells him they can't enter the house without a warrant, despite them having just been inside of it. At that moment, she sees a wound on his hand and says he looks suspicious. She wants to take Owen to the station for questioning. Gabby sees him again, so she yells out to the man. Of course, her yells cannot leave the house. She manages to exit outside to the balcony, where she hangs from the railing. But upon letting go, she lands on the floor somewhere within the house. In there, she finds a small envelope containing a letter to Angus from Judy. She wrote that they lost their baby, yet they still have each other. She wanted him to never forget the power in their family name and the importance of their motto. It is the chant Gabby heard from the hooded people in her nightmare. She also finds a small gift box. In a short time, she hears her phone ringing, prompting her to go down to where it is. Owen is calling her, but she doesn't pick up in time. Thus, she calls him back, and he answers. The problem is that he can't hear her, so he ends the call. She sends a text message to him, saying she needs his help. Gabby sends a message to Tabitha too, telling her friend she loves her, and not knowing if she will ever see her again. Following those messages, her phone battery becomes depleted. Angry, she throws her phone against the window, causing the glass to actually crack. She uses another item to hit it a few more times to create more cracks. It looks like she is given a chance to escape. Alas, the hope is false, for the cracks disappear to add further insult to her efforts. Eventually, Gabby opens the small gift box she found to see a ring inside of it. She wonders why Judy didn't give it to Angus. After she puts it on, she descends into the room where the chanting took place in her nightmare. At this moment, the policewoman returns to the mansion with Owen. She wants him to show her the text he got. Seeing the message, she hopes Gabby is inside the house for Owen's sake. Switching back to Gabby, she finds herself surrounded by mirrors. It confuses her to see all of them there. One of her reflections comes out of the mirror, and the mirrors start to crack until they shatter. Gabby's reflection tells the first one she is there to help. She says the house demands a payment for Gabby to leave. Seeing that she is with the voodoo doll, the mirror Gabby says if she throws it into the fire, it will only seal the curse in the house eternally. The doll is the life of Angus. Throwing it in the fire will anger him more. According to the mirror Gabby, the only way to break the curse is with their blood. Therefore, they offer their blood to the fiery furnace. The second Gabby says the price is paid and the curse is broken. She tells Gabby that she can go now. Then they hear the chanting, making the fake Gabby suddenly grab the real one's arm, proving she was lying. In the meantime, the policewoman finds a way to enter the mansion from above, but the door pushes her down and jams her foot. Unlike her, Owen enters the easy way by seeing the front door is open. Gabby becomes free from her fake version's grasp, yet the fake one slams her before stealing Judy's ring. Soon one of the Gabbys ascends the stairs to the upper level. The other one approaches from behind to stab her in the back. One of them gets pushed down and Owen hears the scream. He rushes to the Gabby who is left. She tells him they need to get out of there. As they go, they hear the policewoman yell for help. Gabby enters the room to help her. Once she frees the officer from her grasp, she helps her leave the house with her wounded foot. While they walk, they encounter Owen with the other Gabby. This bizarre sight shocks the guests. The one with the policewoman takes the latter's gun and points it at the other two. She says she is the real Gabby and tells them not to listen to a word the other Gabby says. However, the one with Owen says she is the real one. Whoever is real is not the policewoman's primary concern at the moment. She wants her gun back, but Gabby points it at her, threatening to shoot. In a matter of seconds, she does exactly that. Attempting to take the gun from her, Owen gets shot too. Now it's the two Gabbys who are left fighting again. It's uncertain who is who as they squabble. One of them removes Judy's ring from the other. It doesn't take long for Owen to break a vase over one of their heads, knocking her unconscious. The man learns the policewoman is deceased. The remaining Gabby says they have to get out, or they will be like her too. She puts the ring on her finger and uses the kaleidoscope to look at the front door. This causes the door to unlock. Somehow she knew what to do to escape, evidencing she could be the fake Gabby. When they get out, the other Gabby wakes up. She watches the duo enter Owen's car and ride off. Then the tow truck returns. The driver who steps out of it is none other than Angus. After he tows the police car away, we hear a gunshot in the house. Due to this, all of Gabby's items disintegrate, whilst house-welcoming items come into being. It is very likely that the fake Gabby got away.